Okay, cameras 1 and 2, both speed. We're at 5 and 4 seconds appropriate. That's pretty close.
Can you
2 seconds off.
mark it first, please?
All right.
After Eden docuseries, The Dragonfly Home, Melissa, take 1.
Okay, all clear, relax, let cameras get balanced. Okay, and start when you're ready.
So Melissa, I'm going to ask you to give me your name, organization, and again, just what you guys do.
Yeah. My name is Melissa Ike. I am a co-founder and the director of communications and development for the Dragonfly Home in Oklahoma City. The Dragonfly Home is Oklahoma City's only state-certified nonprofit serving victim survivors of human trafficking. We operate the state's only state-certified human trafficking crisis center, providing non-residential services to survivors of sex and or labor trafficking of all genders. And we also have a 24-hour human trafficking helpline that is always busy.
Talk to me a little bit about this helpline, and if you've ever fielded one of these calls, what is that call like?
Okay, I have not personally, you might ask Whitney about this. I don't personally field helpline calls.
Some of the calls that you see come through, some of the complaints that you see come through.
So on our helpline, we receive a variety of calls. So some of those calls will be referrals that might be from law enforcement if they have recovered a victim out of trafficking situation, might come from other service providers who think that they might be helping someone who has been a victim of this crime. It might come from medical professionals. It might come from attorneys. Like Whitney had mentioned earlier, we have seen that when people receive training about what human trafficking is, whereas before they thought, oh, I would never come into contact with someone who was in that situation. After receiving training, suddenly they're seeing it frequently. So they will call the helpline to refer people. We will receive phone calls from concerned family members. So maybe it's a grandmother who has learned about human trafficking and thinks there's a possibility that maybe her granddaughter is in trouble and could use advice. And then we also receive calls from the survivors of human trafficking themselves. They find our number in a variety of ways through a Google search. They might actually receive the number from somebody else who we've helped. And so they take the incredibly courageous step of calling the helpline to see if someone can help them.
Can you tell me a little bit about the what you believe the mindset to be of the trafficker? Are these girls, boys at times too, do they consider them to be property?
It's so hard coming from this perspective to get into the mind of someone who can sell another person. I would think that what we've seen is there's a lot of dehumanization. So seeing the person as a product, I would think that you would have to see someone that way if you're willing to take the step to exploit them. I think when they lose control of the person who they are selling, I think it's more likely viewed as a loss of a revenue stream more than a loss of any kind of relationship. It's definitely a mindset of absolutely controlling something. So I think it's really not a far cry to think that they would consider that person to be their property.
Can you tell us a little bit of a day, walk us through a day at Dragonfly?
A day at Dragonfly, I think it's different so much. So I'll just pick a day and I'll talk about that one. So for example, so I'm working on the administrative side. So we have an amazing team. Every single person on our team has an incredible heart. So it's wonderful day in and day out to get to work with these people on our team who have compassion and seek to do everything with excellence. So a day at the Dragonfly Home. So let's see, on administrative side, we might be working on our annual gala. And then we may receive a phone call from someone who says, I just saw a grant come available that you guys could apply for. It's due Friday. Today's Wednesday. So we're going to hop to it and we're going to apply for that grant. And then let's see, Whitney will be on the phone, just doing everything she can to make sure that we have what we need. Let's see. And then on direct care side, that might look like maybe a group, like a support group, for example. We've got these amazing groups that we have been conducting. So maybe it's a yoga class. Maybe it is something really fun like doing a craft, providing some kind of fellowship for the people we serve. Trafficking can be pretty isolating. And so by providing this sort of fun fellowship activity, at the same time, someone is experiencing maybe being around someone who really cares about them, what that looks like, getting used to just being around people again, kind of a normalizing thing, something that we would all do day in and day out. Let's see, they'll also definitely look like helpline calls rolling in throughout the day. That I would say we're rarely together all as a group for very long before a helpline call comes in. And then the thing is that what we do is not a 9-to-5 thing. And so the day extends beyond any kind of office hours. Our team's available 24 hours a day. Like whether that is a holiday, if it's a weekend, if it's 3:00 in the morning, that's the day. It's just rolling day and day after day after day, because we're going to do everything we can to always be there, always be available.
On the administrative side, what are some things that comes to mind to you from a state level that could be done to support the kind of work you're doing? You're the only one in the state. So I understand there is a grant, but what are ideas you have for lawmakers, maybe federally in Washington, but also in your state capital, on Senate level, to help you?
Okay. So, for example, on a state level, in terms of state legislation, we would definitely like to see some harsher punishments for purchasers of sex. Right now, for the most part, if someone is charged with the crime of purchasing sex, it's going to be a misdemeanor. It's maybe a small fine. There's the possibility of some jail time. I don't know that that's enforced a whole lot. So I think that in order to truly deter the demand for commercial sex, making a harsher punishment that's actually an effective deterrent would be a great move. And then, of course, that has to be enforced. What I see, this is kind of speaking to the community, but really if something's going to happen on a state level, it's going to require some community pressure. And so I think when the community in our state really recognizes that, yes, human trafficking is wrong and we want to do something about it, and we as a collective community identify demand as the issue, and then the community is able to rise and put the pressure on the state, I think that would be fantastic. They're gonna make the laws that represent the people. So I think that I would say that we as a community, as citizens, can do a lot to affect that change.
Have you ever seen financial restitution for victims?
Have you seen that on a state level? So I'm trying to look at Whitney over there.
Yes. And if not, you can say no. If yes, you can say yes.
I can't speak to any specifics about it. Maybe you can. I know that has happened.
Okay, I'll come back to
yeah.
Whitney.
There are federal laws to allow for that, and they're pretty new. They're maybe a couple years old. So those things are just starting to happen.
So you guys are going to open a center that's going to allow you some care where moms and their kids can come stay. Are you getting support? What does that permitting process looks like? Is that complete?
Okay, so our non-residential crisis center is certified by the Oklahoma Office of the Attorney General Victim Services Unit. This is the arm of the state agency that oversees domestic violence programs, sexual assault programs, and human trafficking programs as well. So our Human Trafficking Relief and Restoration Center is certified. So we're legally serving survivors in that way. So because our shelter, it's not open quite yet, so the shelter will serve, adult women who are survivors of sex trafficking and their children. So we don't have certification for that yet. It needs to be open to attain that entire certification. We have a great relationship with the Victim Services Unit, and, they know that we are working to do that. So, we'll be able to get that certification once it's open.
Okay. How can people help Dragonfly?
So I would say, first of all, that we're so grateful every day for the incredible support that we receive. We have people who support us monthly, for example, with whatever amount they're able to. Every amount means so much to us. People who say they're praying for us, people who write encouraging words to us. All of those things are a really big help because this is not the easiest work in the world to do. And so those small things or big things, they're really a boost to us. Sorry. But a major way that people can help us is through financial support. So the people who we serve, they need absolutely everything. They might need 24-hour crisis intervention. They need the support of our staff emotionally, psychologically. There's just that part of it. And then there's a more in-depth need. So like medical care, mental health care, dental care, gynecological care, all of those things cost money. And then there's also the needs, like the physical needs, making sure that they have food to eat, that they have clothes, that they have toiletries, things that we all take for granted that might not necessarily be easy for them to get. And the thing is, we're always serving more and more people, and we never want to have to turn someone away. And in order to make sure that we do everything we can to walk alongside these incredibly strong individuals as they are walking down their path to restoration, it requires money, plain and simple. Nothing is free. And so people can really get creative in terms of how they are supporting an organization like ours. Some people might have the financial resources to make a big gift or to give a lot monthly, but everyone can do something. We're super inspired by people who take something that they love and make a fundraiser out of it. Also, I would say people can attend our events, which they're also fun, and they're also making an impact that way. But it all comes down to making sure that we have the resources we need to provide help to the people we serve.
I'm going to cut there. Cut. We'll be back in. Let's just get...